Okay. Hello everybody. Welcome back to the stream. I hope you guys had a great day today. Happy Thursday. It's almost the weekend. I know, man. It's almost the weekend. You got one more day to survive. But while we're here, let's vibe. Anyway, today we got some more reactions. I got about like 4 videos that we're gonna react to. We're gonna react to, or maybe 5 videos. Is it 5 videos? Yeah. 5 videos. 5 videos we're gonna react to. We got some MKBHD to react to. Some products that he wanted to, some product videos, and his other channel called The Studio, which is him talking about 51 essential things that they can't live without. And then we have a Oddprophet video, which is a dubstep producer, him using Serum 2, specifically the Bode filter, or not the Bode filter, the Bode effect in Serum 2, utilizing it. So I'm assuming how to make more stabs and guns with your basses. So, and then we have 2 beatboxing videos, two beatboxers that I love listening to. Yeah, and then that's the stream. So let's just get straight to it. Let's go. I'll never get tired of this song. And you know what's funny about this intro song that I use, plus slash outro song? It is 7 years old. It came out in 2018, and it's a part of my first ever EP that I've ever released on DSPs. So, which is an EP called Infinite. It's the first project, it's the first body of work that I've ever made that's released, and it's the first release that I've ever released. So, but for some reason, this song Horizon, it's the 5th track on the EP. It still holds up to, my heart still to this day, 7 years later, which is crazy to me. Can't really say much about the rest of the tracks. I mean, track 3, Nova's fine. I like the idea of Nova. It's just that the mixdown isn't the best. And Star is another one. But Horizon, it has a place in my heart. Who would have thought that song would have play a role today, 7 years later? But anyway, that's a little side note there. But and if I sound a bit too low energy,
All right, so we're doing.
Whoa, wait. If I sound a bit too low energy, it's because I literally woke up from a nap like an hour ago. So, just for the sake of transparency. All right. We're gonna start by reacting to the Studio channel, MKBHD's 2nd, 3rd, 4th channel. He has a lot of channels. But this channel is like him and his entire crew. So the Studio channel, 51 essential things we can't live without, MKBHD team EDC 2025. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. Marquez and family and team. What are these essentials? Pretty long video, about 30 minutes video, roughly. Let's get it.
All right, so we're doing EDC a little bit different this time, obviously. I'm going to be taking a look at everybody else's daily character.
By the way, I wonder what EDC is, because I'm an electronic producer, so I know what our EDC is. Like in Orlando, it's a big festival, music festival, electronic music festival. So this is when he says EDC, that's what I'm thinking about. If it's the same EDC that I'm thinking about, then that's actually tough. But if it's something different, then I want to know what it is.
And then doing a bit of a draft and picking my favorites of the bunch.
I don't know what size this is. It's the Moment backpack. It's got lots of pockets. It's got lots of, this thing rules. It's so collapsible. The main pocket is
I don't think it's the same EDC because I'm looking at what's on the table and what's in his bag, and I don't see it's not a hydration bag. It's not there's no fans or nothing. So it's like completely different gear that you would expect for an EDC. So I don't think it's the same one. Maybe it's a different EDC for sure.
So big, the laptop pocket is so tight. I just think. I also am a big fan
Wait, he said fan. Hold on.
of sunscreen.
Sunscreen.
I'm also a big fan of the Moment sling pouch. This is what I use as a camera bag when I'm shooting. This thing just constantly amazes me that it has 4 pockets. So, I got a bag, and do I recommend it? Not particularly. Is it yellow? Yes.
The thing that houses everything is this main bag from Urban Outfitters. I don't know what it's called, but it was a really cheap bag, about $15. It has a pie show piece from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Nice little accessory on there. Also, a sticker for my niece.
show.
On it, I keep a Opal C1 flathead, just in case for any camera plates. They always use a flathead.
So my bag is the Ridge MKBHD edition bag with my
flex.
own little nameplate on here. Pretty cool. It's very very shilly of me. Yes, I use a lot of Ridge products. Go figure.
My favorite thing about this backpack is that it opens up entirely flat. So like, boom, whole bag open. And then you can use it just like that for the top section. Plus a computer sleeve.
So within this bag, it holds another bag for groceries. This is a Bagoo that Brandon got me for my birthday. This is a magic trick every time. Check this out. Wait, let me.
Oh.
That's like a 10-gallon hat. No, like that's a lot of gallons.
This is the Moment bag. I've heard good things about the Moment bag, and I think that's mostly in build quality. I'm not mad at it. I just happen to like a little more color. I mean, this is truly matte black everything, but a little red accent would be nice. This one's actually interesting. Like you can get like a phone, some headphones, a little power bank, some cables in here. So yeah, I can tell this is an early prototype version of the backpack because it's missing some of the red aglet thing, accent pieces. I don't know what they're called, but yeah, I daily carry the backpack that I helped design. Shocker.
Okay, so I'm Miles, autofocus producer here at the studio, and this is my EDC. Some things have changed, some things have not. Going into what has not changed, my headphones of choice, the Dyson earbuds. So I did try the newest pair of Dyson headphones that we reviewed on the MKBHD channel, but firstly, I didn't find that audio quality was substantially improved, and secondly, it didn't come with an attachment point for this bad boy right here, the air filter thing that definitely works. Put it on like that, you're chilling. So I mean, if you catch me at like the grocery store or something like that, this is what you would see.
It's so weird to just look at your life. Like,
I remember him reviewing that product, and I can't remember if it was. I think it was like a really good idea. Like the concept of the headphones was a good idea, and the air filter as well. But I'm trying to remember like what was something unique about that headphones, and I really can't think about it off the top of my head.
laid out on a table. It's not a thing we
Rubik's
normally do. A lot of the planning and collaboration in this office happens at our desks, so I oftentimes don't want to be
I feel like I feel like she's very smart because she got like 2 Rubik's Cube plus a mini one on her keychain. She might be smart.
totally locked in my headphones. I want to be able to hear what's happening. And oftentimes pass through, it ends up elevating background noises that I don't want to hear. So I use the Bose Ultra Open when I'm at my desk. These are great. They are just hook onto your ears like that, so I can hear everything that's going on around me, but then I can also listen to what's happening on my computer. If for whatever reason I do want to tune my coworkers out, which is rare, then I use Marquez's old AirPods Max. These ones have the lightning port at the bottom, but look, they're great. They sync with your computer. They're really easy to listen to. They keep good charge.
Oh,
Usually I
reduce the
daily
price.
the Nothing Ear A. These are actually the Nothing Ear ones because mine are at home stewing in my sweat because I work out in them a lot. They're great. They got some really good noise cancellation. They're comfortable. It's very designer core. I need everything to be designer core because I am a designer after all.
AirPods Pro 2.
Using AirPods with an Android device is
AirPods 4 is my headphones of choice. I low-key am gonna I'm gonna display my EDC. Yeah, so I use AirPods. Reason why? Because I like the quality. I love how see, look, oh shit. See, look, I got them right here. Look at that. Look at that. AirPods 4. Regular, not the pros, just regular. I can't stand the pros. I don't like the rubber tips. They feel not uncomfortable, but they feel awkward, and I never liked them. So, but yeah, AirPods are goated. They're not the best, obviously, headphones out there. The Bose, whoever said the lady with the Bose are pretty damn good. Not gonna lie. Um, I don't know about like the sound quality in terms of music and phone calls, but Bose has never really been disappointing when it came to music sound quality, especially like with their speakers. So yeah, but I like AirPods because it's a nice blend between the high, mids, and lows when you listen to music, and I like a nice blend. I don't like headphones that has too much treble or too much bass or not enough mids, and like I feel like AirPods just have a nice healthy balance of all three. So uh yeah, that's mine.
not ideal and it causes so many problems. But these ones just fit my ears really well, and I won't be caught dead with
Oh,
those weird like little rubber tip things.
she understands. Maria understands. Um, but yeah, that's another thing. They're comfortable to me. The AirPods are very comfortable to me. Um, I recently found out that am I really loud? Wait, I'm looking at the mic levels. Uh, okay. Well, anyway, I recently found out that if you if you have if you have AirPods, I don't know if it works for all generations, but at least AirPod 3s and up, not the pros, just the regular ones. If you have those AirPods, right? And you know how headphones nowadays have like dynamic EQing where it will boost like the lows and stuff like that and boost the EQing depending on like the environment that you're in. So I recently found out that I think one day at work, I was listening to music, and I just I remember every time I put on headphones, and this is primarily why when some of my streams, if you've ever seen them, that the headphones I'm wearing them regularly, but sometimes on stream I will wear them like upside down like this, and I've displayed that a few times. Now, no one hasn't yet questioned why I did it because they probably just never noticed. But um, I noticed that the speakers on the headphones, which is at the very top, right? There's a speaker at the top of the headphones. This speaker is the subwoofer, right? And as we listen to music, the subwoofer is exposed away from the ear. So you don't really hear the sub at all, if any. You'll hear the harmonics, the faint harmonics in the song, but you don't really hear the sub because the subwoofer isn't in your ear. So I recently started to listen to music by taking the headphones and turning them upside down so that the subwoofer is in your ear. And now you got this extra bass boost, the sub boost, while you're listening to music. And the trebles and mids, the highs and mids aren't even compromised. They're exactly the same in level. You just have a really nice bass boost at the low end. And I find that very helpful because, at least with Apple products, unless you have a third party app that you listen to music to, and I'm not talking like Apple Music or Spotify because they don't even have, I'm talking like one of those like music downloaders. You remember those music downloader apps? Most of them have a built in equalizer. and you can adjust the equalizer to your liking, which is something that I wish Apple would add to the sound settings in your phone, to have like an equalizer to be able to boost your lows, your mids, and your highs if needed. Other headphones have, I'm assuming, has this kind of setting, but obviously the Apple AirPod 4s and Pros, they do have dynamic EQing, so there are bass boosters, but some of the elements of listening to music, like if you have hi-hats and stuff like that, the quality of the music is compromised a little bit. So it's not really the best dynamic EQing in headphones. But if you just turn them upside down and you just kind of listen to them normally, if you just turn them upside down, then no quality is compromised. You still have great quality, but just a little bass boost. That's why I love AirPods so much. But that's like a little hack. There's a little hack. So the little Timmy's in the chat, Fire Stream. Welcome, man. How you doing, man? Hope you're having a good day. We're reacting to some videos I'm trying to catch up on. So
I love these. Highly recommend splurging for the more expensive ones with noise cancellation, but they're a little bit cheaper. They have USB-C and they're pretty great.
So my headphones are the Audio-Technica ATH M20Xs. The big reason I bought these is because I was living in Chicago and I needed something to keep my ears warm in the winter. Shout out Chicago, greatest city on earth. The other big reason that I like these is honestly because even though the sound quality is solid and the hardware is solid and the battery life is great, I like these because if I lost them, I would be okay with that reality.
This is now the third time I've come on an EDC video with the same headphones, Focal Bathies. Are these the best headphones for an audio professional? No. Are these the headphones I would recommend to someone who wants to buy nice headphones? No. Are they the best headphones for what I do here? Probably. I haven't found anything that I like more. They sound great. They have very low distortion in the mid-range, which is really important for me when I'm mixing. I would never tell anyone to buy them. They're like, at least when they came out, they were $600, which to me is like way too much for a non-production headphone.
Whoever put these there is trolling me. That's fine. Dyson headphones, I don't even think they sound good as headphones, let alone this part. So, Miles, yeah. I'm gonna say for my flying on a plane headphone pick, I'll go with the Focals. I think this is gonna be awesome. And I think for my walk around the studio earbuds experience, I'm gonna go with the Bose Open Ultras. I think these are both really solid.
The Bathy's noise canceling is, it's not bad, but it's not AirPods.
It's not airplane? Would you fly on a plane with them? No? Now, considering I specifically would want headphones like this to get on the plane and be in my own world, that's gonna matter. That's gonna weigh in for me. So I'm switching to the AirPods Max, but yeah, keeping the Bose. So earbud, headphone.
For my wallet, I like to use one of the Ridge MKBHD wallets. I like having the elastic, so it's not just like a hard clamshell. I can just like open it and just kind of see what's in there. My pockets are very small, and so my wallet has to be very tiny.
I'm not a super like opinionated like wallet person, but I've been using the Ridge wallet and I like it. I have yet to find myself wanting to go back to a more traditional style wallet.
Ridge makes metal wallets, which are cool, and I've tried them, but like for everyday carry, they're just not for me. So I was really waiting for them to come out with a leather wallet or a soft wallet, and they did. So this is the leather bifold, and I really like it. I have a couple cards in here, some cash, and it's still so slim. Like, look at that.
I don't like the slim wallets. I don't like the push wallets. I don't like the metal wallet. Like I've never enjoyed those, but I do like a good old fashioned bifold. I got cards. I got my ID. I got 500 pesos. I'm definitely one of those people that has way too much stuff in their wallet at all times.
Usually, I'm the same way. I have a trifold wallet, a wallet that my mom got when she was in South Africa. She brought me back a trifold wallet. It's really, I like it, but it is beat up. I've had it for like, I think when she goes to South Africa, like 2019, maybe 2018. I can't remember. It's old. It's beat up. It's morphed. The wallet has definitely morphed. It's no longer a square. It's like this really I mean, it's still a square, but it's like really bulky and just, I got too much stuff. I need to clean it out. And I have coins, old receipts, change. But hey, I'm still rocking with it.
People carry one wallet, but I have two because this one holds all the cards, specifically my Yu-Gi-Oh card. This second one just holds cash because I don't like holding cash. And this one, you can't hold that much cash in a card wallet. But
I never thought
in a
about
pouch,
I never thought about like carrying two wallets. That's actually smart. Like one with cash, one that just have all your cards. Like you have the important wallet with all your credit card information, driver's license, all that stuff. And then the second wallet could just strictly be for cash and or coins. But you know what I thought of? I feel like people should carry two wallets, not because of like a separate one for cash, but like a decoy wallet. Just in case of like they're in a situation where something pops off and somebody's robbing folks and talking about, give me your wallet. You just give them the decoy one and put like pretend cash in there or something like that, like fake cash in there. Just remember to never use that. You just give them the decoy wallet and then they're on their way and then boom, they try to use it. Or if they don't use it because they know it's decoyed and it's like, dang, nabbit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you could put coins in here, your Chuck E. Cheese coins.
My wallet is this lovely wallet from Segrid. My favorite thing about this wallet is where I got it. I was in the Netherlands and I was like, damn, they built these canals how many hundreds of years ago and they still hold up? So I figured if I was going to buy something that I'd use every single day that would have a moving piece, I may as well get it in the Netherlands where they clearly have a lot of engineering prowess. While there's a little bit of scuffing on the leather on the outside, I actually think that it gives it character, makes it feel like it's more of mine, and its utility, its ability to open up regularly, and its, I don't know, general walletness. Still pretty solid.
General walletness.
Oh, what? Actually, that's kind of fire. Okay, so these are all the wallets. Me personally, minimal wallet person. These are kind of like the more foldy, traditional types. Full grain leather wallet. It's pretty nice. Look, your boy loves a Ridge wallet. But I like a soft wallet more. The Trove wallet, which I also really like, carried for a long time. Yu-Gi-Oh card, another great design. You guys are really outdoing it. But I think I'm gonna stick with this small, slim one. Second place is definitely this. It's too thick for my liking, but that's
ingenuity.
Fire. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with, this is actually a Ridge wallet? Oh, sick. I didn't even know this was a Ridge wallet. Yeah, I'm sticking with the minimal one, couple cards, a little bit of cash if I need it. Probably won't have it though, just like 6 or 7 little pieces of plastic in my back pocket.
Watch. This is a watch that is called the Solid State Watch. It is from our friends in Brooklyn called CW&T. Rich knows. I don't, but Rich knows. CW&T. Basically, it is a watch that is encased in resin. It lasts about 10 years. And after that, it becomes a paperweight. But what I love about this is it's funky looking, but it's a conversation piece. It's a funky watch.
So I use a OnePlus Watch 3 as like a Android guy. I think this is the best Android watch out there, pretty much bar none.
So I wear 2 watches some days, and everyone makes fun of me, and that's okay. This is my preferred watch. It's a Tissot Visual-Date. I like it because it's automatic. So hopefully you guys can hear this. It's just a nice wristwatch. It goes with everything. It's pretty classic. The other watch I carry, Apple Watch Ultra 2.
I wouldn't say I'm like a gym bro or anything like that, but I do take my fitness relatively seriously. And that's why I have the Apple Watch Ultra, because you buy the Ultra for ultra fitness.
Even though, yes, people say it's not very accurate for the calorie counter, step counter, whatever, it at least has something for me to keep track. And so far, within about 3 months, in 4 months, I'm down 20 pounds.
And this watch helped me keep track of my fitness during our week-long fitness competition that we ran here in the studio, where I actually took the victory. I swept everyone, including Marquez. It wasn't even close for pretty much anyone. I know some people would argue that a Pixel watch would be a better choice, especially given that I don't use iOS as my main daily driver smartphone.
I can understand why people would dislike the Pixel Watch. and I hear you and I see you and I agree with you for the most part. What can I say about the Pixel Watch? It's so great. We love it so much. It only took 2 years for them to add public transit information to that. So that was really big W for me personally.
I've been using the Pixel Watch 3. I have been really enjoying this thing. I got the cellular version because I'm on Google Fi. So they had like a promotion where you don't have to pay for service. So when I go on a run, this is the cellular version. So I don't even need to bring my phone. I only need my watch. I can listen to podcasts on here, listen to my running playlist. I could still answer messages, take phone calls, everything. It's all on here.
We're not gonna show you the options for.
See, I'm not a watch kind of guy. I have a watch that does not work, but the aesthetic looks really cool. My mom got it for me, and I want to get an Apple Watch, and that would be the completion of all of the Apple products I have, because I have an iPhone, I have a MacBook, I have an iPad, I have AirPods. The only last piece of the puzzle is an Apple Watch, and I would complete the 5 Infinity Stones of main Apple products. So, but the only problem is I used to wear watches when I was younger, like in middle school, maybe even high school, but they always break, and they were like slightly irritating to wear on my wrist. So, I prefer my wrist to be free, you know. But I understand, I feel like at one point in time I will get an Apple Watch of some sort. Maybe not like a super expensive one, just something that's just simple, that just does the job, whatever, I guess. But I'm just not a watch guy. So
you have to choose a watch first.
Okay. So I've reviewed these. I have not reviewed these. I got to test this. It's actually very good. It's one of the best, maybe the best Android-based smartwatches. Multi-day battery life. There's actually a lot going for this thing, so that's cool. I'm just gonna say it now. I was never gonna pick the watch. So spoiler, I am a smartwatch person. I have my own smartwatch for things like notifications, workout tracking, closing my rings. I mean, I use an Apple Watch Ultra, so that's the easy pick. I mean, here's the thing. If I pick an Apple Watch, I have to pick an iPhone. And if I pick a non-Apple Watch, then I can use an Android phone. So I'm gonna pick an Android watch. I'm gonna pick the OnePlus Watch 3.
I'm a man of culture, I'm a man of class, I'm a man of taste, and unlike the rest of the bozos who work here, I figure I could show you what a man of taste actually uses every day. I bought a Canon EOS M. This is a 13 or 14-year-old mirrorless camera made by Canon. It was actually the first mirrorless camera they ever made. And so I got this as a video camera, actually, but ended up falling in love with still photography. If you are shooting digital and need a little cheat code, I would recommend getting one of these. This is a Canon FD 50mm f1.4. This thing, if you're bad at taking pictures, oh my God, no one will know with this lens.
For the autofocus videos, that's obviously shot on iPhone, but when I'm not shooting autofocus stuff, I use this. This is the Canon R5 Mark II. This is simply the best mirrorless camera you can buy. Red, forget about it. Sony, definitely forget about it. This is all you need. Shoots 8K video and multiple different codecs. Now we have C-Log 2, so colors are nice and right straight out of the box. Autofocus is even better. It doesn't overheat as much anymore. You've got full-size HDMI. You can now power it using USB-C cable. This camera simply does everything I need. This is the goated camera right here.
Yeah, red
Sony
cameras are
could
always
never.
good.
This is the Fujifilm X100S. It is Marquez's old camera that he no longer uses. Everyone's like, oh my God, you got the new X106. And I'm like, you thought this is the older one. Like everyone that I show pictures to that I've taken with this camera is still blown away by it.
So this is my daily camera. It's the Fujifilm X106. My favorite thing about this camera is the everyday filter I have on there. It's a little mist plus polarizer. So when I shoot into the sun or to lights, it pops a little. I'm a photographer.
I guess I'll just say my theme is generally maxing out my utility. And even in the littlest things, like this being a fixed lens, I know you can change aperture and it's very satisfying because of the clicking wheel. I want zoom, and so I end up leaning towards something where I can interchange lenses. I mean, the R5 Mark II is literally one of my favorite cameras. I don't daily carry one, but if you made me daily carry a camera, it would be this one.
An accessory I use every single day is this power bank from Journey. I like it because you can charge an Apple Watch, MagSafe your phone, and do wireless charging. It's 10,000 milliamp hours. I think that this sliding mechanism, even though it will probably betray me one day, has not betrayed me yet. Absolutely love this thing. It is how I charge everything all the time, and it's great for travel because I just need one USB-C cable, and then I can charge up everything I own.
Not an ad. I actually just truly really love it. Ridge's new magnetic power bank. MagSafe, watch charger, integrated cables, kickstand, little display, 10,000 milliamp hours, charges like phones up to like 3 times. This is what I really love. It has a lightning cable built in. This has effectively allowed me to get rid of every single lightning cable in my house, so I don't need like 6 more cables. All gone.
The ring I wear is the Ultra Human Air in stainless steel, and there's actually a really great story with this. When me and Miles were in Portugal, Ferrari's chief test driver, Rafa, actually wore this ring. So he actually put it on his finger. He's like, this thing's kind of cool, I guess. And then like he wore it for like, I want to say 5-10 minutes. I was just like, that's kind of cool. So yeah, through the transitive property, I've driven every Ferrari since the early 2000s, and I am infinitely cooler than all of you.
So these are my Meta Ray-Bans, and I love these. I mean, these are like, you know, one of my favorite pieces of tech that I've bought in the last couple years. You know, being able to listen to music while you're walking around, without having like headphones in, so you could be a little more present.
They look clear when I'm wearing them like this, but then when I step outside and stare into the sun, which is something I do like all the time, they transition so that I have proper sunglasses and I'm slightly more protected from the rays of the sun with my Ray-Bans.
I think the cameras on these are actually really good, especially if you have a ton of light. And they just added AI features where it'll do live translation for Spanish, French, and Italian.
Hola, me llamo Eric. No puedo hablar español fluente, pero estoy aquí para probar este new feature. Good Spanish.
I can't speak fluent Spanish, but I'm here to approve this new feature. Good Spanish.
It's actually really good. It's telling me that you should subscribe to the studio.
Right.
So this is good for, yeah, Apple Watch too. This is good for I'm going to a hotel today. But this is the no-brainer, right? No, I'm too much of a shill today. I'll just go straight to the, no, you know, this, I'll pick this one. I'll pick this one for the hotel because it's probably at least 10,000 milliamp hours. I will not pick it if it's not 10,000 milliamp hours. It's exactly 10,000. Wow. It's crazy what Ridge was able to do, huh? Okay, we're going with the Ridge one.
I saw that coming.
I've wondered about these. I've seen a bunch of ads for them. So my watch of choice is the OnePlus Watch 3. Might be a little overlap with the metrics, but maybe this is better for sleep tracking because the OnePlus Watch is so big. Well, I'm in somebody's AI right now. I could really do some damage, but I'm not going to say anything crazy. That's my accessory picks. The shades, the Ultra Human Ring for sleep tracking when I take the watch off and put it on my charger, Purell, and a one-sided Rubik's Cube.
iPhone 16 Pro Max. This phone is everything to me. Takes great photos.
iPhone 15 Plus.
Enjoy the cameras, and photographic styles works pretty well. And sometimes Dazcam makes it onto the app usage list.
I did just switch phones. My new phone now is the Pixel 9 Pro. I have it in the Bellroy leather case. The leather wraps all the way around the edges, and also when I don't want to have MagSafe, which is rare, but I can just take it off and just hold this phone naked, and it's beautiful.
I know a lot of the people in the studio use iPhones.
Look, Pixel is such a good phone. Like Samsung is good, Apple's good, but Pixel, Google Pixel, they're such really good phones.
I am an Android user. For a long time, the integration for YouTube into Android phones was way better than on Apple devices. For a long time on Apple, you couldn't resize the window. You couldn't like access things as easily. I do use multitasking all the time because I do everything on my phone. So I've used Android for a long time.
That's a valid point because, you know, Apple is just now catching up on all these features that Samsung has been doing. Samsung's integration with apps are god tier. Like I'm not even gonna lie to you. Samsung's innovation and integration with apps is absolute god tier. Apple is just now catching up with that, which I'm very happy about because I'm an Apple user. But it's like it took them a while to get there.
I do see the benefits to iPhone, but for now, sticking with it.
My phone. Have any of you ever had a pet, a dog? This dog is now going on like 15, 16 years old, and you just love it. And everyone who comes over is like, I love your dog. And deep down, you know,
Yo, what iPhone
this
does he
dog
have?
is eating you alive. That's my iPhone 12 mini. I
Oh.
have not charged it yet today. It is 12:06. I have 40% battery life. Battery's at perfect health. I got it swapped a little bit ago. This thing just sucks. And I love it so much.
I did briefly have an iPhone 16 Pro Max, but I found that firstly, that phone is incredibly expensive and didn't really offer any necessary upgrades that I really needed compared to older iPhones or other Android phones. So I decided to give the Nexus 6P another try. This phone goes harder than like taking 3 espresso shots in the morning.
I forgot about Nexus. Damn, I forgot about Nexus still making phones? I forgot about Nexus. I'm not gonna lie, the iPhone 16 is such a, like, for what it was advertised for with Apple Intelligence, it's such a disappointment of a phone in terms of launch because it did not come with anything that it was advertised and marketed around for. Like the whole Apple Intelligence thing, that was like the big thing that marketed around the iPhone 16. And then at launch, none of that was ready. None of that. And there's still, I think there are still some Apple Intelligent features that just hasn't arrived yet. I mean, the main ones kind of did, like Siri, writing tools, and um a few other things, right? But I don't think we're in full Apple Intelligence mode. Like I don't think all of Apple Intelligent functionality is there here currently. So the iPhone 16, if you had like a 15, I would even argue a 14 even. If you have a 14 or a 15, the 16 was not really much of an upgrade without Apple Intelligence. Like without Apple Intelligence, it's just another 15 Pro. Like that's all it really was. The only difference is with the hardware is the chip that's in it. I think it was like a A18 Bionic. I don't know. I lost count on chip, but I think we're on A18. But the chip, the I couldn't even say the display. I think the display is pretty much the same from the 15. Battery life is pretty much the same from the 15. Um, yeah, the 16 was really more AI focused, so it was just a disappointment of a phone. Like it's like if you have a 15 anything, whether a 15 plus, Pro or Max, you don't need the 16.
An empty stomach. And trust me, I know what that feels like. The display still honestly holds up in 2025. Performance, buttery smooth. It's one of my favorite phones of all time, and I think it's
Buttery
honestly
smooth,
the
doesn't
best
move.
Google phone that's ever been made.
I use a Pixel 9 Pro Fold with my touch grass skin on it. Let me get the...
That is funny.
Yeah, listen to that. I wanted a folding phone for a while. My first one was the Pixel Fold 1, and then I upgraded to the OnePlus Open, and now I've upgraded to the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. I don't see myself upgrading anytime soon because I really love this phone.
As a Pixel Watch user, it only makes perfect sense that I also use the Pixel 6 phone, which also...
The best phone. That's Pixel 6 was probably their best phone that they've made in their lineup. Like, guaranteed, no questions asked. If you were to ask me what was the Google phone that was the best in terms of durability, in terms of battery life, in terms of hardware and software, the Pixel 6 was literally the best phone. For iPhones, I'd probably say the best iPhone that they ever came out with, I probably would say The iPhone. Ooh. It's oh, I don't know. I don't know what's the best iPhone. Me personally, if I could go back in time, me personally, the best iPhone that I've ever owned was the iPhone 6 Plus. Because it was the first iPhone that they enlarged the size to like a 6 point something display. So I'd say the 6 Plus was probably my favorite iPhone. The 15 is cool, but I think the 6 Plus was like the last iPhone that I was ever impressed with. And then every iPhone that came after that wasn't really as impressive. I mean, yeah, you have the iPhone X or iPhone 10. We never had an iPhone 9. So it's like there was the 8, then the 10, then the X, and then the Pro, I think it's the Pro. I can't remember, but yeah, the iPhone X was the only thing that was like new hardware wise was the infinite screen. That was it. And then after that, there wasn't anything new up until the iPhone 14 or 15 that introduced Dynamic Island. But that's more of a software thing that's new, that differentiated between all the other ones. Um, but yeah, the iPhone 6 Plus, that was like the last impressive phone to me because not only of its larger size, we finally saw a large iPhone for the first time when it first came out, but the battery life was it was the first time the battery life was bigger, right? And then the display was amazing. Um and the camera, that was the first time we had multiple I think did the 6 have 3 cameras? No, I think the 6 only had 2 cameras. But it was the first time we had like a 2 camera system in our iPhones because before that it was just the iPhone 5 and it only had 1 camera. Um it was the last impressive phone. So yeah, I would say my iPhone 6 Plus was the best phone, but the best overall iPhone, I really don't know. It just depends on the person. But I can say confidently that Google 6, the Pixel 6 was the best Pixel that they came out with. In terms of if you're talking about checking off a lot of boxes, this phone did it.
Was from our office, but I didn't steal it. I don't remember what year this came out, but it works perfectly fine. I don't see the point in changing your phone and your everything like every year, every month. I just think that's silly. I think if it works, you should just keep using it until it breaks. And I don't want to jinx it, but it hasn't broken yet.
This is not. This is barely working. I like to use my phones until I can't anymore. I like to just run them into the ground.
That's me. I'm the same way too. I just got this 15 last year, right? Before this, I was rocking an iPhone 11. I was about 4 years behind. 4 years behind. I was rocking with that 11 for 4 years, bro. But I got the 15 last year. My mom and I actually upgraded at the same time. So, and I'm not gonna update to another iPhone until like another 4 years from now. So, because when I look at these new released phones, I look at it from a different perspective. Because most customers, like, they probably just wanted to get the new phone and they don't really know all that's really new. They just know that it's new. But if you're somebody who's like me and anybody who's a tech savvy somebody and you pay attention to all of the specs that comes out with a new phone and see if it's something that you're like, you're not gonna upgrade every year because if it's just a little bit of battery life or just a little bit better screens and stuff like that, that's not really enough for me personally to buy a new phone. So I'm kind of like a skip all the mini updates every year and then buy a new phone like the 4th or 5th year so it feels like a major upgrade from the phone I had. So from the 11 to the 15 was a huge upgrade for me, obviously. So My next phone will be the iPhone 20 or whatever it's going to be called. I have no idea.
And this big old crack right there,
Yo, this phone
that happened the day after I took the case off of it, actually. I hope to upgrade soon, Marquez.
But yeah, wow,
Crazy.
it's mainly just iPhones and Google phones, huh? It is actually, other than the Samsung. So there's a Samsung S25 Plus, and then it's
That's a good
Pixels and
phone, too.
iPhones. Okay, sorry, Miles.
Yeah, we're going to
I
put
like
that
small
away.
phones, but I also have big hands and maximize my phone usage, so I'm probably not going to pick the tiny phone. There's a part of me that's still like, this is a great design. I would, as you know, typically have two, but I'm not allowed to do that. So I'm picking an Android phone to go with the Android smartwatch, and I pray that compatibility does not become my enemy because I have a soft spot for this phone. I'm going Pixel 6 Pro.
Yeah. See?
They got to bring back the visor. Why did they get rid? Why did they do this? Why did they get rid of the distinct? I love Pixel 9, but bring back the visor. This is my petition to bring back the visor. I'm going Pixel 6 Pro.
Best phone. Best Pixel phone.
Crazy!
Okay, so I feel like I'm judging people's lives now. They really can't live without these.
That's tough. Okay, I'll go with the Leatherman Free P4 because this is an actual real life do everything multi-tool. It's rare that I actually need like a pair of pliers, but if you do, the thing that I like best about this system though is you can use it one-handed. The other thing, I think this is the E3 Angel Eyes flashlight from Rorigon. Everyone's always like, why would you carry a flashlight? You have one in your phone. Your phone flashlight is like maybe 50 lumens. This is 700. The most important part of my EDC is my puppy Zuri.
That's a big puppy.
This is Zuri.
If you know me, you know that I am vocal about my origin from Cincinnati. And so what better way to show that than with Grader's Ice Cream? But not just any Grader's Ice Cream. This is the collaboration between Grader's and Skyline Chili. Skyline Spice Grader's Ice Cream with oyster cracker bits in it.
It actually does taste like chili.
You can take away
I don't know
pretty much
about that.
everything except for my lacrosse stick. I cannot live without this thing because exercise is very important when you work a physical job. This might take two takes. I haven't done this in a while. Ready? Oh, wait, hold up. Yeah, hold up. This lands. I could have hit Rich right there. Ooh. Ready? Ooh, could have hit Eric.
I found something kind of interesting. So this is a Daily Bliss. This is a new one. I filled up my old one. I'm just gonna show this piece of paper. It's not paper, at least traditionally sense. It's stone paper. It is tear resistant. It's really hard to tear. It's still flexible, holds ink really well, smooth to touch, and it writes really well. So it's great. That's like the coolest writing accessory I ever have.
This pen
Stone
is
paper.
also from CW.
Never knew about that.
And
Satisfying.
now I use these pens to draw things. I'm working on an interior redesign right now. The last part of this is I also keep this secondary thing for little sticky notes and also pencil sharpeners. So
I haven't
yeah,
used a pencil
again,
in years.
just in the vein of not having a bunch of stuff at the bottom of your bag, just roaming around. My Zoom H1 audio people. Oh, I told Eric I'd put on sunscreen while I do this. Yeah, baby. This thing's old. I got this thing in high school. I specifically got it early on in high school so that I could record audition tapes. I don't use it at work because it doesn't do a lot of stuff that we need here. But if I'm just like out and about, I can plug a binaural mic in there. I can use the internal. It's just like, it just gets it done. It runs on one AA.
I have DJI mics, which I pretty much always have in my backpack because they're so small, but these are super useful. So if anyone does anything where they record stuff, this little tiny thing can give you a reasonable facsimile of like a podcast mic while you're on the go.
This is M2 Mac Pro. This is simple.
This man got the cheese grater over powerhouse Mac. I low-key want this Mac simply because of how much power it has.
A beast of a computer. And the beauty of this computer is that it's running Apple Silicon, which is like this big. So you have this massive tower with all this room inside. So what are you gonna do with all that room inside? Well, you do this.
You know what? I'm not even mad. I am not mad. What better way to be working on something and you just have a mini snack storage place in your computer? Why do most computer builds do not have this? I guess it wouldn't be, I guess it wouldn't really be practical to have like a snack compartment inside your built PC or whatever. But I ain't gonna lie, that's actually smart. That's actually smart.
So this person can't live without the snacks or can't live without the computer?
Both.
Or both?
Both.
I played lacrosse for a year. It was only a year. I didn't like getting hit that often. Flashlight. What? I need to talk to whoever this is. Yeah, I'm gonna drop this just cause I got hit too much. I have PTSD with this. Yeah, I'm going mic pack to go with my R5.
There aren't sweet enough rigs.
I'm going flashlight.
Fair enough.
If only for bragging rights. Can't live without it. So there you have it. That is my picks of the best of the EDC from the studio this year. This is the perfect daily carry, but it's only missing one thing. The subscribe button.
Oh.
It'll probably be right here. All right, well, that about does it. If you want to watch another video that's similar to this, check out our desk setups video. Some good stuff in there too.
I might react to that too.
See you later.
I might react to that one too. Not today, but another time. Okay, that was great. 51 essential things that they can't live without. I mean, these are valid. Whoa, what am I doing? These are valid essentials, not gonna lie. Nothing too crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, if it were up to me, I'd probably daily carry most of those stuff. So, all right. Next video is Sony WH-1000X M6 review. Back on the throne. These are some headphones. Let's take a look at them. This is MKBHD, by the way. This is not the studio channel, so this is just a regular review. So let's take a look at them. Let me just make sure that we are on the proper settings. Boom.
Okay, so Sony is back with their new flagship wireless noise canceling headphones with this super easy to remember name. You know the ones. These are the Sony WH-1000X M6s. Easier way to think of it, most people will just call these the XM6 or the Mark 6s, which is exciting because the Mark 5s from last year actually left some room for improvement. They improved some things, but they also made some things worse, which was weird because the Sony noise canceling headphones were pretty much king of the hill for so long, they didn't have a ton of reason to change a whole lot. Thankfully though, the newest generation updates a lot of the stuff that the Mark 5s fell short on, so that's really good to see. It's exciting that there is a new design, new sound, a new case, but also a new price. We'll get there. So straight from the top, I still love this super clean, simple design. They kept what was good about the Mark 5s. They are very, very lightweight. The vegan leather ear pads are super soft. The headband is incredibly flexible. These are just some of the most comfortable headphones to wear for a long period of time, which is what you want from these. If you wear them for a long time for traveling or for a commute or something like that, they are still awesome. But if you remember the last generation, maybe you're a subscriber and you've watched all these videos, wink, wink, then you remember that they made this huge downgrade to travel specifically because they didn't fold at all, ever. So they had this huge case that was more annoying to travel with. So first thing I was happy to see is the Mark 6s are back to being able to fold up again. So they have a new, significantly smaller case designed around them that fits some cables as well. And bonus, the case doesn't zipper anymore. It just closes with magnets at this buckle on the side, and it is way faster to open and close than everyone else's zipper cases. I'm actually not sure how we haven't seen this more often, because this case is pretty much perfect. I have a feeling it's about to be copied a whole lot in a whole bunch of places, because
that is very
wouldn't change a thing. Also, another thing the Mark V's weirdly didn't do was, when you're wearing them around your neck, was just to be able to rotate them flat like this. For some reason, they took that away in the Mark V's, and now they're back. Simple thing, but thank you. So overall, design-wise, I feel like these are back to being up near the top of the best travel-ready noise-canceling headphones. It also comes with a 4-foot right-angle headphone cable and one of those tiny USB-C to USB-A cables for charging, and they just fit in this little pocket over here in the corner of the case like this. It's great, feels durable, no notes. And then they changed the buttons and microphones around the outside of the headphones just slightly, so the right side is still just the USB Type-C port. And then on the left, next to the audio jack, they've made the power button much bigger, which doesn't seem like much of a big deal, but that now lets you distinguish better between the power button and the noise cancellation button while you're not able to see them. Now, speaking of noise cancellation, they made a bunch of behind-the-scenes changes to these headphones that sound like they could make a big improvement. So there are 12 microphones on these instead of 8 from the last generation. There's also a significantly more powerful Sony QN3 chip inside that should be able to do much more processing. And they also
flat audio? What does that mean?
said that they've trained these headphones on 500 million voice samples using AI to be able to better distinguish human voices from environmental noise. So this is the last generation of headphones and how the built-in microphone sounds to someone I'm on a call with. 8 microphones, some noise from air conditioners and general room tones, but nothing too crazy. And so now here is the Mark 6. So they added 2 more beamforming microphones to the front for hearing my voice better. But what I really think most of these microphones are better for is noise cancellation. And
so there is more mid information with the Mark 6s versus the Mark 5s.
Transparency. So how do they sound? Well, I've been listening to these headphones for the past 2 weeks or so. I've taken a few flights. I've worn them around the studio, at home, all kinds of different environments, and they sound better. These are actually all new drivers versus the last gen, so there's a lot going on here, but to be specific, they are
flat audio, all frequencies are equal. Oh, okay.
Excellent quality sound with great range, punchy lows and a lot of bass, and then a lot of detail and clarity all the way through the mids and the highs, and they are still really, really insanely good at canceling out white noise. Now, if we want to get even more granular, I did a bunch of back-to-back listening with these Mark 6s and the last generation, and there are certain tracks where you really feel the difference a lot. Basically, the Mark 6s have a much stronger low end, especially in the sub-bass and lowest bass, and the Mark 5s started to feel a little spiky in the mid-range where the vocals are, and were a little bit weaker in the low end. So in the tracks that have a really important bass or sub-bass, pop, electro, hip-hop, stuff like that, that's when, in these, they're really appreciated. And then the Mark 6 also has even stronger noise cancellation than the already goated Mark 5s. But the real highlight for me is actually the transparency mode, which feels way more natural and clear sounding. So if you're wearing these headphones and do want voices to come through, or just want to hear your environment more for whatever reason, people might talk to you through these headphones, the transparency mode, or what Sony calls ambient sound mode, went from feeling a little muddy and unclear to literally up there with AirPods Max levels of crystal clear and natural, which is awesome. Now, not only are these headphones new, but Sony's also refreshed their app. The Sony Headphones Connect app is now just called Sound Connect, but it still does most of the same stuff. There's still literally 20 different levels of ambient sound. There's still custom EQs that you can easily flip between, and this is also where you can turn on or off any of the other convenience features. Now, this one new one that I found interesting is listening mode. So you can listen to your audio like normal in standard mode, or you can flip it to background music mode, which does an incredibly good job of making it sound like the music is coming from a small set of tinny speakers like 20 feet away, like as if you're in a cafe somewhere, which, you might be into that. There's even actually 3 modes, so cafe, living room, or My Room, each of which just shrinks the size of the virtual room a bit. And then there's also Cinema Mode, which does this upmixing from stereo to a 360-degree immersive sound mix of whatever you're listening to, kind of like a movie theater. It's also a very dramatic V-shaped sound too. I could picture someone maybe in their home office or a cubicle or something like that listening to these all day and wanting to feel like it's a less fatiguing, further away sound. And then you'd put cafe mode on and it works. It's surprising how well it works. And maybe then you flip to cinema mode for watching certain YouTube videos or something like that. There's also still the EQ stuff. The point is, you can make these headphones sound exactly the way you want them to. The sound is really strong. The noise cancellation is excellent. They are extremely comfortable to wear for long periods of time. They fold up into a smaller case. The battery life is the same 30 hours as last year. My only downsides are literally that your ears can get a little sweaty without any ventilation after a couple hours. And the touchpad controls on the side are still finicky like they are every year. But clearly these have a lot of great things going for them. So then, the price.
Let's hear it.
$449. These are even more pricey now. And the Mark Vs were already super premium.
Well, it can't be any worse than Apple's AirPod Maxes, because those things are like 500 beans for okay. They're good quality. Don't get me wrong, but if you were to ask me between the Air Max, Sony, or Bose headphones, I'd probably pick the Sony. So, and those are like 300 something bucks. So, just saying.
At $400 when they launched. Now they've dropped down into the $350 range. These are launching at $450, maybe partially to account for tariffs, maybe partially because they think they're that much better now. But that is really expensive, and I was thinking about it for...
You know what's crazy? Every time people talk about prices of stuff, tariffs is always the number one outlier that is brought up in conversation, which is how much the market is different now.
And I actually still think they are worth it. And I basically landed on that because this whole category of all these other premium noise canceling headphones options is filled with other things that still try to beat these and don't, and make these still feel like a deal, if that makes sense. Also, especially for Android people. Like the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultras are $429. These are better. The Sonos headphones launched at $450 and have dropped a little bit, but these are better. JBL has a $400 option. This absolutely smokes those. This smokes the Beats Studios. AirPods Max are still somehow $550. You could argue, though, for the Apple ecosystem people that maybe that's worth it, but these Sonys still have multi-device connectivity and can...
I forgot these headphones are Sonys. I just said if I wanted to pick between Apple, Sony's, and what was the other one? Did I say Beats? I didn't say Beats. Bose. I said Bose. I said I'd pick Sony, but these are Sonys. So
an Apple device and a non-Apple device, which is sick. So my take is, if you're still just looking for the flat-out best headphones to fly with, to work with, to commute with, that you gotta have the most comfort, the best noise cancellation, I mean, that's just how much they cost. These are back on the throne. So there you have it. Sony's WH-1000XM6. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.
This is actually the next one we're going to react to. So let's just go straight to it. Let's go make sure it's 4K, and here we go.
All right, this is it. Your official first look at and hands-on with the Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge. Samsung's ridiculously thin addition to...
Oh my lord, that's a thin-ass phone. That is such a thin phone. That is so thin. That's like 20% thinner. It looks about almost half. I'd probably say 30 to 40% thinner than a regular phone. Bro, you can't back pocket that phone, bro. You can't back pocket that. You will break that phone. Durability has to be terrible if your phone's that thin, unless the body around it is like a thicker metal and not a thin aluminum situation. Okay, what is the appeal of a super thin phone? Like, I get it. A phone is the same thickness as a pencil or even thinner than that. I get it. It's thinner, it's lighter. It's, it's a magic trick at this point, right? But it's like, what is the are we not done with the thin phone era? Like, where are we going with the thin phone? Like, is the goal to make it so thin that it's paper? Like in the future? I don't think anybody cares about thinness in their phones anymore. And another thing is, when the phone is thinner, I feel that there's a lot of compromise with a lot of things. Battery life is being one of them. When a phone is that thin, I feel like the battery life is compromised. It's not as powerful as the regular phones, right? Durability is compromised, I feel, depending on the material that the phone is made out of. But if it's any kind of aluminum material, even if like a strong aluminum material, I feel like that's still not enough to really keep the durability. Even the buttons are thinner. Like, they're smaller, they're more narrow. Um, like, honest to God, I wouldn't pocket a phone this thin, because it's like, if I put it in my pocket, I wouldn't put anything else with it. Because I feel like it's gonna like put a dent in it, crack it, even with the camera bezels that are sticking out. Bro, like, from this part of the phone body to the end of the camera is damn near almost the same thickness as this entire, like, right here. Almost. Maybe just a little bit bigger. But still, we don't need a thinner phone. We don't need it. We just need better hardware. In terms of, I say better hardware, we need better software, more battery, and good cameras, right? In terms of hardware, I mean, I really can't think of anything that we need for hardware in 2025 and in the near future. I can't think of anything. I remember like one time that this whole holographic feature, like, there was like renders of like, and this happened with iPhones. There was this render of like an iPhone that had like a holographic keyboard like years ago, like probably like 2010 or 12. And we all thought that was like going to be like really cool to have, but it never happened. But um with the help of, AI and all that stuff, that might still be a thing in the future. But it was interesting. Like, that was like the next, we thought it was going to be like the next big thing because of the renders. We didn't think it was true, but we just liked the idea of it. So, but I can't think of anything hardware wise aside from like the physical cameras themselves that we need to improve on. But really and truly, it's just we need to focus more on software and more integrated features to make the experience of using a phone more like um just kind of more easier to use, user friendly with the UI and all that stuff. And we just don't need to focus on the thickness of the phone. Oh, and another thing, like the cable, like the charging port. If the phone is this thin, the charging port is like probably like, you know what I mean? So, but let's see.
25 lineup. So this is delayed a bit, and the rest of the lineup has been out for a while since earlier this year, but I just know somewhere out there was somebody who was waiting for the thinnest possible version of an S25. Just the minimum Z-axis dimension. This person totally exists. And good news for this person, it does actually seem to be a pretty good phone for as thin as it is. if you're into that. So what I was really wondering about this phone when it was first revealed or teased was, how are they going to position this? Is this going to be some ultra high-end phone where they make a huge deal and hype up how thin it is and they broke physics to make this possible? And it turns out the answer, which kind of makes sense, is it's right between the base S25 and S25 Plus and the S25 Ultra. So the theoretical customer for this phone is making like a half step up from the base phones, but not going all the way to the Ultra. So you can think of this S25 Edge here as basically an S25 Ultra Lite, if that makes sense. It still has the titanium rails from the Ultra phone. It's in one of 3 stunningly vibrant colors, black, silver, or slightly bluish silver. But then they also took the primary camera, the 200 megapixel huge sensor from that Ultra phone, plus all the software and image processing that comes with it. Then the second camera is a 12 megapixel ultra wide. No telephoto here. And then it has the screen from the S25 Plus. So it's a 6.7 inch, 120 hertz, 1440p AMOLED display. And then the whole thing is powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite, just like the rest of the lineup. And with all that power and the custom NPU and all the software features that we expect all the rest of Samsung's phones to have. So it feels, when you're using it, you know, very familiar software-wise, which is great. But when you make a phone this thin, 5.8 millimeters thin to be exact, well, you know, of course, there are some obvious trade-offs you have to make. Samsung's not immune to physics, so there's no way around it. There's just less room inside the phone, so that means less room for internals like a telephoto camera, which is missing, and there's also less room for battery. So we're back down to a 3,900 milliamp hour battery with 25 watt charging. 3,900 in an Android phone back in the day used to be a lot, but now, with as powerful as these phones have gotten and with as bright as these screens have gotten and as big as they are, this is like bordering on worryingly small. Just for context, the S25 Plus, which is the same size, is 4,900 milliamp hours. And that's not to mention all the other stuff I gotta test when I get it. Things like cooling. Like I just don't expect this to have the same level of heat sink and cooling as the thicker phones. But also, now that I've held it, as much as I hate to admit it, there is also kind of some upside to this ultra thin design too. Hear me out. So the phone obviously looks incredible. I mean, this is a sleek and modern design. It's impressive. I also think the camera sort of has this floating island design. It's actually my favorite design in the entire S25 lineup. So with no case on it, this phone looks really good. And also underrated, it's much lighter than most flagship phones. So the official spec on paper is 163 grams, which is it's basically the same as the small base S25. And so just holding a phone this big in the hand that's that light, there's something about it. It's much more convincing holding it than watching a video. If you can get into a store and hold it, you'll see, but it's one of those things that I can't quite translate through the screen. I definitely felt a certain way watching a bunch of videos of this phone, but now that I've held it, you know, I was swayed a little bit, not gonna lie. Now, I also like that the sides are flat. And then even though the whole point is to be super razor thin, they did keep some of those small things that I think they could have gotten rid of, like the physical SIM card tray is still here. I think the buttons on the phone are actually slightly smaller just because of how thin it is. But then also the 25 watt charging speed is the same speed as the regular S25s, and they kept 15 watt wireless charging as well. On the front, it's actually the same Gorilla Glass Ceramic 2 as the Ultra phone, but without that fancy anti-reflective coating on the Ultra. Some people like me who have used the Ultra will miss that, but a lot of people won't actually notice. And
like, let's take note of that. That was a really good shot of how they did
fancy anti-reflective,
how they did the lettering and how it reacts to the reflections of the screen when he turns the phone. That was actually, I like to note, because one thing about Marquez's videos and like his team behind him, the animation and the video production will never go unnoticed. This is so cool. I don't know how they did that, but this is really cool.
Coating on the Ultra. Some people like me who have used the Ultra will miss that, but a lot of people won't actually notice. And then inside, it's 12 gigs of RAM and either 256 or 512 gigs of storage. And the starting price, $1099. So again, right in between the Plus and the Ultra. So some thoughts. Okay, first of all, and a lot of you have already typed this out in the comments, and I can see them below the video already with my psychic powers, but people aren't asking for thinner phones. Like, we know this already. Matter of fact, most people are asking for a slightly thicker phone to get more battery life, and this is the opposite. So I expect this phone to have worse battery life than all of the rest of the S25s. I'm not sure how much worse yet. I got to test it, so get subscribed to see the full review when it comes out, but I can pretty much guarantee it will be worse. Second of all, though, there's also rumors of an iPhone 17 Air, an ultra thin.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Yeah, the iPhone 17 Air. Look, I would much rather have a new iPhone Fold than a 17 Air. Okay? The Air tag, not the product, but the actual word Air that's tagged to the product is only like, I feel like that brand should stick with iPads because iPads is just, they're bigger products. So it's more impressive to me, it's more impressive for an iPad to be called an iPad Air because it's a massive tablet, but it's like less than 1 pound and stuff like that. Like it's very light. It's like this whole illusion, this very impressive illusion where you have something this big in screen, but it's like super light at the same time. Like it doesn't feel any fatigue. Some people will actually use an iPad Air to take pictures and photographs. So but for a phone, we don't need an Air. I really hope the iPhone Air isn't a real thing. I feel like though the 17 will be thinner for sure. I feel so. I wouldn't be surprised if they do make the 17 thinner, but it's unnecessary. It's really unnecessary. I'd much rather see the first generation iPhone flip or fold, whatever they're gonna call. They're probably gonna call it. They're gonna give it its own name, like they won't probably call it a flip or a fold, because Apple, they come up with their own version of the trend that's going on, whether in software or hardware. Like for instance, AI is a huge thing that has been going on for the last couple of years now, and all of the major tech giants integrated AI in their phones. Google, Samsung, um, I'd probably say OnePlus. I'd probably say any like Huawei, all these phones, right? And they call it artificial intelligence, AI, augmented reality, um, all this stuff, right? Apple comes along, they don't call it AI, artificial intelligence. They just rebrand it to their own thing and call it Apple Intelligence, right? To make it more unique to their brand and design. And look, the aesthetic too. So I'd much rather an iPhone that flips or fold, and they're probably going to call it something different, like the iPhone Open or something like that, which it sounds stupid, right? iPhone Open, but they're not going to call it. I think they're not going to call it like a iPhone Flip or Fold. I feel like they're just going to give it a different name because of the Apple aesthetic and because of the brand. They'll call it like the iPhone Open or the iPhone what else? I'm trying to think of other adjectives that indicates like opening something or flipping or folding, something like that. Like iPhone 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 Max sounds stupid. But anyway, you guys get my point. But we don't need we don't need an Air phone. We don't need an iPhone Air. Like that's just useless. It's such a useless thing. Like it's so useless. It's better if the phones were just smaller. Like for if people just want a smaller phone, just make a smaller phone. We don't need a thinner version of what we got already. We don't need any battery compromise. We don't need any and we don't need any more compromise as it is. I get like with the whole like pricing, because it's like if there is an iPhone Air, it will be relatively like the edge here where the phone is like a median phone. It's not a budget phone, but it's not a flagship either. It's like a median. But knowing Apple, once you've made all the adjustments to the specs, whether in storage, RAM, or whatever, it's basically going to be the price of a premium phone, which you should have just got that in the first place, right? So I hope this isn't real though.
iPhone coming out at the end of this year as well. I wasn't sure how they would position that phone, but I'm now a little more confident they'll probably also do a sort of middle of the lineup thing. But, you know, Samsung's is out first, so they can say that they did it before Apple, and that means a lot to Samsung. I think both phones will have some battery issues to deal with, but Samsung did actually keep an ultra-wide camera and a physical SIM card tray and the same exact chip as their highest-end flagship phone, which it looks like the iPhone will not do any of those things. Then the other thing is, we all know the stats. Almost everyone puts a case on their phone. So instant reaction is just like, oh, why would I get a thinner phone like this when I'm just gonna put a case on it and it's just gonna end up feeling like any other regular phone? But I do actually think that with how crazy thin and light they've made it, this is one of those phones that you put a thin case on it, or you know, maybe even a D-brand skin or something like that, but it's still actually gonna feel thinner and lighter than a normal phone with a case on it. So if you're one of those rare people who is actually looking for specifically a thinner phone or a lighter phone, but not necessarily a smaller screen, then okay, yeah, this is theoretically for you. Matter of fact, before I review this phone, this is the exact customer who I think it seems like it's aimed at. This is someone who is going to upgrade to a Samsung phone somewhere in the lineup and liked the idea of going all the way up to the Ultra because the camera looked really nice, but they don't want to carry this big, thick Ultra phone with the S Pen they'll never use. So they'll get this, and they also like the idea of the Ultra camera, but don't mind having a worse ultra wide and no telephoto and less battery. Or just someone who sees a cool commercial, thinks it looks shiny and thin, and just buys it anyway. But anyway, stay tuned for the full review. Should be coming out at some point soon. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.
Dope. I hope like after the whole thin phone situation that we get rid of this trend of thin phones. We just get rid of it. Like after this Samsung what's it called? S25 Edge. After the thinness of this phone, and if iPhone makes an Air phone, I hope we don't see no more phones getting thinner after that. Like this is the last one. We just need to keep it. We need to keep it. You know what I mean? We gotta keep it just modern. But anyway, but all in all, though, I will say this: though it's super thin, the phone does look good. It's very sleek, simple, minimalistic in terms of the design of the phone, the hardware of the phone. It's like just, you know, it's a nice looking phone. No lie. If there wasn't a camera bump, like if they have all the cameras still, but there wasn't bump, it was flush with the rest of the back of the phone, it would have been perfect. I'm not a big fan of the camera bump situation. I mean, I'm used to it now because that's what all phones are doing now, but I prefer a all flat all the way through phone. It just looks better. But anyway, we have 3 more videos to go. We have Oddprophet talking about Serum 2's Bode frequency shifter is insane for heavy dubstep. And then we have 2 which the Oddprophet video is like almost 16 minutes long. And then we have 2 more videos after that, which is 2 beatboxing videos. It's very short. Like one is Codfish, Goat. He posted 3 days ago of his Oceana Beatbox Wildcard competition. And it's 2 minutes 42. And then we have Skin, I think that's how you say it. With Cloudwalker Beatbox, which I'm assuming is just like his regular. It's not for like, I don't think it's for competition. I think it's just like a single that he released, which is a minute 58, almost 2 minutes long. So let's go to Oddprophet and see what kind of. I feel like he's gonna make like some gun bases and stuff like that. Trying to put up the quality here. And if you guys watched my streams before, you guys know I love using Bode. Bode is such a goated effect. Especially the especially the feedback and the blur in Bode, that gives it that really nice metallic-y, um, almost spectral, comey kind of effect to your basses. It's super nice. It's super nice. But how I will say the frequency shifter and the range, that's these two buttons, these two knobs right here. I've messed around with them, but I really don't know how to use them properly because I'm just kind of like twisting the knobs, and I hear the effects that it make, but I couldn't really figure out a good way to like utilize them. So maybe he knows something that I don't. So let's see.
Hello, welcome back to the Oddprophet YouTube channel. You're doing frequency shifting all wrong. How many times have you been wrong? So many times. That's why I've made this YouTube channel, to help you not be wrong at sound design ever again. In fact, I'm so close to hitting 10,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel, I can almost taste it. It tastes like blood, sweat, and tears. So I want you to go and hit the subscribe button before you've even seen this video, before you've even learned anything. I also want you to like this video before you even know whether this is good or not, because that's going to help me get a house and a cat this year. Where is it, Toby? You said you'd get it by now, but where is it? Anyway, frequency shifting. Most of you have already delved into the magic of Serum 2, but a lot of my students have been using this feature, the Bode, all wrong. You're probably being like, this Bode thing seems cool, but I have no idea how to use it. Well, this video is for you, especially if you're a tarot producer, because we are going to be making some fat guns and then using this Bode frequency shifter to make them even fatter. So, what is a Bode frequency shifter? Well, have you read the manual? Might be a fucking start. So let's have a look. Let's go menu and then hit read the manual. Pretty straightforward, isn't it? This is why I didn't do very well in America. This is how I treated everyone. Read the manual. What is a Bode frequency shifter? The Bode, sounds so scary. Basically, it's like shifting all the frequencies up that isn't pitch shifting. It can make things sound weird. It's named after the electronic music and audio signaling processing pioneer, Harold Bode. That was a fucking mouthful. Who the fuck is this guy? Let's have a look, shall we? Harold Bode. Oh my god, he's an unk. He is a dubstep unk, bro. Oh my god. He looks like Stephen Hawking, but all the processing is outside his body. Anyway, Steve Duda has beautifully made or plagiarized his invention called the Bode frequency shifter. I have a sawtooth wave right here. I know it already sounds like Skrillex, but we're not done yet. This is what it does. Now you're probably thinking, I've used frequency shifters before and they don't sound like that. That sounds like it's got an LFO on it. Well, Bode is kind of like two frequency shifters, one for the left and one for the right. And it's used for mainly lead synths, I guess, to kind of give this fluttery sort of thing, which is kind of cool. But it sounds like ass on a lot of things, so we're going to fix that today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a massive gun. And
that makes sense. If it's two frequency shifters, one for the left and right, it makes sense why the mono input is there, because I was wondering why that was there. But it makes sense.
We're going to use this Bode thing to really shift around all the frequencies to get even more variations. Sound design for me is about exploring and not knowing what you're going to get. And the Bode frequency shifter helps you achieve that happy accident that we're all looking for. So let's go and make our gun. Oh, just for the record, this is one I made earlier. But look at this. This is where I placed the Bode frequency shifter. If I shift this up, I have access to loads and loads of different tones, and the sub bass stays the same, so you can get loads of different frequencies and loads of different ideas from your gun sound just by implementing this Bode. So let's go diving into it. Yes! Okay, first of all, I'm going to make my thing. I'm going to initialize this preset. Get the fuck. First thing we need to do is we need to go and get a nice wavetable. I use the Cymatics freebies. I have done for years. You can find them online. Let's go and choose something like this. Beautiful. LFO1 is going to be our main sort of characteristic timbre maker thing. God, LFO1 is going to control the filter and a lot of other things as well. This allows you to draw different things in LFO1 to get loads of different variations. This is how I've done synthesis for years. LFO1 goes on the wavetable oscillator. Wavetable position. Beautiful. Let's go and get our filter. This is really important for guns because it's going to focus on an area. And with guns, it starts with a high transient and then ends up low, kind of like a kick. So that's what we're going to do with the cutoff. Beautiful. Let's get that louder on the main. Cool. Let's go and process this. I've been loving the overdrive, as you probably know. Cool. So we could just stop here, but actually I have something for you guys. Introducing the Oddprophet toolkit. This is available down below. Lots of people have been asking me, where do you find those tonal pops in those previous videos? Where do you find all these layers? Well, I have created a massive pack of layers for you, and they have been extremely useful with the beta users that I've given this out to. They've said they can't get enough of this. Have a look. It's basically a gun building toolkit, but you can also use inside of Serum 2. So for example, I have all of these little transients that you can put on top of your guns. Beautiful. We also have some low ones as well. Absolutely fat. We also have some mid frequencies as well. Now, you could just put them all together, but it really works well inside of Serum 2 with the spectral oscillator. Look at all these textures. Ah. It's a sound designer's dream, man. Now listen to all these transients you can put on top of your guns. Extremely bloody useful. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take one of these low ones, I reckon. Something like this, and let's go and put that into the spectral, like this. You can use other samples as well. There's some on Splice that you can probably use. Love that. Right, let's go and add our splitter. Now, with tear-out guns, the main component that makes it sound like a tear-out gun is the convolver. And what we're doing here is we're splitting the frequencies from low to high. The reason why we do this is because we don't want to put all of our effects on the entire frequency spectrum. If you put bode on the low frequencies like the sub, your sub bass is now frequency shifted out of key, and it sounds trash. We don't want that. The splitter is where it's at. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to choose the highs, and it's already split at 210 hertz for us. Let's go and add our convolver on. I'm going to choose something from the medium section, because if we have something too massive, it's just going to sound like a reverb. Let's choose something like vocal horn. Cool. We're going to raise the IR gain, which is this sample right here, so it's loud enough so we can hear it. Now it just sounds like it's in a cave. To make it not sound like it's in a cave, but get that massive sort of feeling, we're going to take the decay down. We've kind of got something very dissonant, but we're not really settled on all of these things because you can obviously just change. I might even choose a mid. Let's try one of these. I might even put this on the LFO like this. Cool. Let's add some compressor. I'm not going to have this all the way up. Not just compressing the very tops of it. I'm doing that by just changing the threshold, just so it's not so much. We need a sub bass as well, so I'm going to put this sub bass on. I'm going to put this direct out, like this, and let's go and put this down to 3. We also need this envelope, this LFO on envelope mode like this. We need some more distortion in here. We need some more girls in here. So with this spectral oscillator, you can bring up the scan to make this sample go a little bit faster. Now we're cooking. What if we put the drive up on this a little bit to get some more crunch? Actually, when I do that, we actually delete the spectral. That's the overdrive working there. You can change the size of this IR by just changing the size. You can change the tone of the IR by changing the size. That's just basically just stretching that IR sample out a little bit. I almost forgot, we need some pitch bends. So LFO2 is going to go on the matrix like this. And then we're going to go all the way down to global main tuning. And then we're going to make our little envelope like this. And then we're going to bring up the amount. I'm going to flick through some of these. I might even change this wavetable. Let's see what happens. I think we're cooking now, boys. If you want to have an even deeper tone, what you can do is you can actually go to the alt warp section of your wavetables and then bend it like this. And you get this really nice thick low end. What I'm going to do is actually going to get one of these high ones like this and then put that in the noise oscillator like so. Let's see what happens if I do this. Oh shit, let's put this on envelope mode. Oh, we're cooking now, boys. We're cooking now. Don't worry, I will get to the bode. Hold your fucking horses, man. Right, I think we've got some kind of gun here. I think that sounds really sick. Now, I'm going to get to the bode. So, the bode has 2 frequency shifters if it's on just the normal settings. One to the left and one to the right. Now, if I shift this up, nothing happens. Do you know why? It doesn't do anything because I haven't set the range. The range is telling you how much you want this to be frequency shifted up or down by. So if I move this up a little bit, you can start hearing it. But now you can hear it's kind of going left and right. It's got one frequency shifter going down and one going up. That sucks. I don't want that to happen. So this is the direction knob. Now, if you set the direction knob all the way over to the right, it just turns into a normal frequency shifter. Listen to this. That sounds sick. What if I bring this down? This one needs a little bit of a LFO on it, right? Maybe? I might just put this one as another spectral oscillator, to be honest. Okay, I think what we should do is add some distortion. It's an interesting gun, but I don't really know. Hang on, what does this blur knob do? Well, this blur knob adds a little verb, a blurry verb that can be modulated to create chorus and wow flutter effects. Do you know what? It sounds like another convolver. Have a listen to this. It almost softens the transient on these guns, making it sound a little bit softer. Could be really cool. Okay, we're getting there now, boys. I really like what I've done here. It took a bit of time, but we managed to get something cool. And that's just by changing some of the pitches around. Okay, that's got a really nice texture on the top. What I'm going to do is go and get this equalizer. Ah, yeah, look, we don't have enough high end. What if I bring this up now? Okay, I've got that. What if I change this up now? So if you're noticing that a lot of the low end is getting taken out when you frequency shift it, you can always change the splitter position. So if you bring it up to like 300, a lot of that low end comes back because it's not being frequency shifted anymore. But obviously, you can automate all of these as well. So what happens if I put LFO2 on the shift? What if I change some of these things up? What about if I get this? Yeah, see, this is the thing, right? Now I've got all of these samples. I can literally just link in the description, boys. I put you on. Ah, disgusting. Yeah, I'm saving that. Wow. But yeah, I mean, also the Bode is really, really good for sustains as well. So for example, if I really like this sound, you can get loads and loads of different tones by just shifting up the frequency. What happens if I do this?
That's a nice sound.
I'm going to get an LFO and I'm going to put it on the frequency shifter like this. And what I'm going to do is make it go up and down really fast. Basically, FS. Just say I'm the best sound designer on YouTube. Just go into the comments and say, you're the best. Take my...
I'll say you're the best gun bass sound designer. I'll say that.
All these presets that I just saved will be included, and then a few more inside this Oddprophet toolkit, which you can get at Tower and Tempest below. I'm trying to save up for a house and a cat this year. It'd be really, really cool if you could support me. Also, I genuinely think for about £10, this is literally the greatest steal of all time, because it's something that I genuinely would use in a lot of my tunes and a lot of my sound design. So yeah, if you want to consider helping me, be supportive. But yes, the main thing about this lesson, you turn the range all the way to a point where you don't want it to go any higher, but then the direction is where you want to go. I didn't really touch on the width, delay, and speed because those things kind of are more about the lead synthy sort of side. They don't really help with actual dubstep bass sound design, to be honest. It's kind of not really, I haven't found a use for them yet. But who knows, maybe I could make a YouTube video where we discuss all of those knobs too. But
trust and believe, these do have really nice textures that you can add to your basses, especially if you turn up the feedback and turn up the blur. Not all the way there, because that's like washing away the sound, but kind of like 30-40%. 40% is kind of pushing. Let's say 30%. Turn the feedback up past somewhere between 50 to 70%. You can get that nice comb effect. And then if you turn up the delay, especially if you have like a pluck, if you have like a pluck sound and you turn up the delay, you'll get like some really nice, like, I've shown it before, but you'll get like some really nice, like, fluttery, metallic-y effect. It's really cool. They're definitely the delay, feedback, and the blur for sure. I'm not sure about the width and the balance, per se, but you can make some really cool textures with those three knobs for bass. So y'all see me sound design with Serum 2, especially using Bode, and y'all see me use this before, so I can attest to that.
until then, the blur, the shift, and the range, but the direction always shifted over to one side, you're going to have a great time if it's inside the splitter. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. You are the best. You're the best fan base I could ever ask for. I love you so much. Love you. See you later. Goodbye forever.
All right. That's a nice I did learn something with the Bode frequency, because I knew Bode was a frequency shifter. I just didn't know how to use it. I didn't know it was two frequency shifters in one. Please, can we not exit out of the full screen? What do we do?
No.
Come on, YouTube. All right. But yeah. So cool video. We got 2 more videos left. Now let's talk about beatbox. Beatbox is probably the third thing that most, it's like beatbox is a hidden talent that most producers probably know how to do. Maybe not to the level of advanced like these guys who do it for competitional purposes, but to an extent where it helps to come up with rhythmic sounds and overall ideas for music, right? So beatboxing has always been a love of me, just watching like people create the most craziest sounds, and it's all with just their mouths. Now we've evolved a lot from beatbox, from just a mic and some ideas, to now beatbox has gone into the production side of mixing and mastering, as if you were to create like a full-blown track in a DAW. and that's what they're doing nowadays. And now the listening experience has now elevated, and I feel like up until a few years ago, um this has become a popular thing. So I've always been a big fan of beatbox, um ever since like I'll probably say like 2010, 2012-ish era. I love listening to beatboxers. I've always have. I beatbox myself. I'm not the best at it, but I can do a cool sound or two and do like a cool drop or two. But yeah, beatboxing is really dope. Who we're going to listen to? I'm glad you asked. We're going to listen to Codfish. He is a legend in the space alongside with others. One who really um he's not he's not like a polished beatboxer in terms of, he follows like safe musical theory rules with beatboxing. He kind of just does his own thing, raw and authentic beatboxing, and tells the story how he wants to tell it. So he has a wild card that he just posted up 3 days ago called it's beatbox. It's called Oceana. So let's take a look at this.
My name is.
I am excited because I love Codfish, especially his take on I forgot what the track is called, but it's a cover. Uh it's a cover. I forgot what it's called, but it's the one that goes, "And I see you in a line to," that song. But let's take a look. Codfish, Oceana.
Fish, and this is my wild card for the Oceania Beatbox Championship 2025. You the blue fox, you steals the you blue flame. You
Just based off of the rhythm, I knew it was going to be a house cut.
You just know how to flow, where to lead, where to go. You just know how to flow. Blue flame. You just let it go.
The nasal, like that's a new sound that he displayed in a competition, of like a few months ago, this year essentially. When I first heard it, I was like, oh, that's a new sound in this arsenal. So because he hasn't done that sound before. And I know it may not sound like a lot, but trust and believe, there is a bass in there. There's a sub in there. It's very faint, but it's there. It's like very subtle. And I can't imagine how hard it is to do that. But the sound, the texture overall is a nice texture. It's very clean. It's very soft, and it's not too harsh on the ears. So, and the context of how he's using it, crazy. Codfish, his bass, his um I'm assuming it's the throat bass that he's using, the like that. His range of how low of a note he can go is crazy. Vibration bass. I think it's called vibration bass. It's incredible. I love listening to it. It never gets old. Um, and you know, at the same time too, I like beatbox videos like this because the high production beatbox videos are really cool with the whole mix down and all that stuff where it sounds like a real track. That's all cool, and I love those too. But there's something about like just putting a mic somewhere and just recording yourself without too much mixing, without too just raw audio. This is what it is, raw, because you can hear the acoustics in the room, you can hear like the impurities. It's just there's something about this classic style cinematography of beatboxing right here that I'll always have a love for, because you don't hear, I like how it just stopped on the snare. You don't hear like all the magic of mixing and mastering and production. You just hear the raw, authentic sound of the person. Like no gimmicks, no effects. Maybe like if anything, he'll probably put a reverb on his voice, but that's really it. But no delays, no layering, no nothing, just raw vocals.
Blue flame. Blue flame.
Well, you know where.
That's nice. I'll save I'll save that reaction for another day. Yeah, like so obviously that wasn't pre-recorded either. That was another thing I wanted to note. It wasn't pre-recorded and he lip synced his own beatbox. He's done that before in the past, but this is just him just putting up a mic, press record, do his thing, and then that's it. Because the way how he went back away from the camera, you can hear the audio dissipating as well, and then as he get forward closer to the camera, it gets louder and louder. So it's not a pre-recorded thing. But yeah, that was a great track by Codfish. Dope wild card. Love every minute of it. Never get tired of his vibration bass. I wish I can do his vibration bass. That's really cool, especially pitching it up and down the way he does. And that's a bass I'm working on currently too. It's not perfect. It's actually kind of garbage right now, and I would do it, but I can't because there's anyway. One day I'm gonna figure it out. All right, last video of the stream. That is I want to say his name is Skin, because it's SXIN, and that's the only word that's closest to what it looks like. But we have Skin with Cloudwalker beatbox, and based off of just the look of the thumbnail, this looks like a more production-y, mix and mastered kind of beatbox situation. So let's take a listen. Oh yeah, heard those. Yeah, the reverb is present. So, but let's hear it. Ooh. This was a short one. It was like barely under 2 minutes. This is nice. First of all, it's very hard to do those switching between keys within the scale that like that, and hitting like the and then like that, though that's not easy to switch seamlessly as if you're like pressing a key on a keyboard. That is tough to do, and he masterfully has done that. I love the lush and the bliss of the ambient atmosphere he created with this piece right here. The very textura, the clicks and pops that you hear within the drops are a nice ear candy moment. My only gripe about the mixing is that I feel like I get why reverb is literally on every sound because it's supposed to be more of an ambient track, Cloud Walker. So it's an ambient chill track, very dreamy soundscape kind of vibe. But I would like it for like, I feel like it's missing a lot of low end and some low mids. Like there were some bass sounds in there that kind of got drowned out. It didn't really sound like a bass. It just sounded like a, I don't know. But it sounded kind of weird because the basses came in. Number one, there's a lot of reverb on the bass. Number two, there's no low end. So it's just like mid basses or something like that. So even the kick didn't feel that powerful. It just felt like it felt very distant in the back. So I just wish that the mix down was that the kick was more, and because there's no low end, the kick felt very weak too. So I just wish that there was more low end for the kick and bass sakes. Whether if he has to do a bunch of automations on that, or I don't know, make a separate track, but then it wouldn't be like a full-fledged, like proper beatbox, because now you're just treating it like creating samples and making like a whole track out of that. So that would probably be, it would just be like an automation nightmare. So that I understand, but at least boost up the mid lows and lows a little bit, because it would make it sound more fuller. But other than that, dope track, fantastic track. I'm a big fan of it. It's not very often you hear the chill side of beatbox, because beatboxing you always hear like the very aggressiveness and the weirdest sounds and all kinds of things, right? So you want to hear like the biggest and loudest sounds, the most ear candy, the most filling bass gaps, all that stuff, right? But it's never a bad thing to put out like a really chill beatbox, very mellow, very soundscape, dreamy sound. So I appreciate the fact that this is a thing in his arsenal and that he added it to the collective of the beatbox culture. So kudos to Skin for that. And that's the end of the stream, guys. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you guys have a great night. If you guys are not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications so you guys will not miss a beat when I go live and or drop a video. I haven't dropped a proper YouTube video in a very long time. The lives kind of took over, and I say kind of, they did take over. Like the Thermoshock walkthrough, normally that's like a YouTube video idea, but because I feel like, well, I can just do it live it's equivalent. It's pretty much the same thing. It's just uncut and unfiltered. So whatever goes, right? But yeah, we're almost close to 400 subscribers. We're just literally one subscriber away from 400 subscribers. We're at 399. So if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, or if you're new, or if you're not new and you're a veteran of this channel, subscribe. Turn on post notifications, like, share this video. You don't even have to do all that, but I'd love for you guys to subscribe so you guys can be the first to know when I'm dropping a live. I post it in the community post every time I go live, so you guys can turn on notifications or get notified to make sure you guys don't miss the lives. And or if I decide to drop a video, you guys are the first to see it and all that stuff. So we're almost close to 400 subscribers. I still think that we can hit 1,000 subscribers this year. That's kind of like a huge milestone, and I don't know if we'll hit it this year, but it'd be dope if we did. So I'm still working hard and grinding every day to make sure that that's a possibility, and posting online, making sure, whatever. So but anyway, I'm rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching the live. I see some of you guys in the comments, some of the returning people in the comments, and I will see you guys next time. And there is a track I'm working on. I say I'm working on, it's just an idea. I don't know if it's going to be a track yet, but I'll display that on the next live. And we will get back to music production, whether it's making preset packs or just making drops or whatever. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time. I hope you guys have a good night. Dane is out. Take care.